Okay, so you should have already done the vocabulary for this section, and now we're going to talk about different types of compound inequalities. And I think we're going to try and do this in a chart. Might be a fairly large chart, so we're going to have 3 columns. And the first heading is going to be words. And then we're going to have algebra. And the third column heading will be graph. Okay, we're going to show you how we're going to look at these different inequalities both in our language, algebraically, and in a graph. So the first one is going to say all real numbers greater than 2 and less than 6. So greater than 2 and less than 6. Okay, so it's going to look like this. Let's draw a line up here for our headings to make sure that's out of our way. Okay, it's going to look like x is greater than 2 and x is less than 6. And your compound inequality is 2 like this, where x is on the greater side, and then here where x is on the less than 6 side. Okay, so your graph, let's just put down 2, 4, and 6. 2 here is open, so open circle, and 6 here is also open because it's not also equal to, and then it's going to be the line in between that. These are all the numbers that are greater than 2 but less than 6. Okay, let's look at another case. We're going to have all real numbers greater than or equal to 2 and less than or equal to 6. Greater than or equal to 2, and the key words here are and, less than or equal to 6. Okay, so separately that would look like x greater than or equal to 2 and x less than or equal to 6. When we put them together in a compound inequality, we would have x in the middle. X is open, this alligator mouth opens up to that one, so we're going to have it like this, and the 2 on this side, and we're going to make sure the alligator mouth point the same way to the x's and the 6. When we have the graph, it's going to look very similar to the one we just did, except for at 6 and 2, we're going to have colored in circles because it is equal to as well as less than and greater than. Okay. The fourth case will say all real numbers less than 2 or greater than 6. So we'll say all real numbers less than 2 or greater than 6. So separately, those are actually not going to be compound because there's going to be a space in between. So this is going to look like x is less than 2 or x is greater than 6. And those are going to look a little different on our graph. We're still going to graph the 2, 4, and 6. Okay, these are going to be open at 2 and open at 6. Except for here we'd have x is less than 2, so this arrow would go this way, and x is greater than 6, so it would go this way. So we kind of have a hole in our graph. Okay, and we'll have one more section, and that is going to have the ors with greater than or equal to. So this would be all real numbers less than or equal to 2 or greater than or equal to 6. Okay, so that's still two separate inequalities. So it would be like this: x is less than or equal to 2 or x is greater than or equal to 6. Again, same kind of graph as the situation we just dealt with, 2, 4, 6, except for this time, instead of having closed circles, we would have, this time instead of having open circles, we'll have closed circles pointing towards the left on this side and pointing towards the right this side, and that would exclude all numbers between 2 and 6, right? Because those are not less than 2 or greater than 6. So far that should make some good sense to you. Okay, so let's look at an example of this at the bottom of our big chart of how to look at these inequalities, and then we'll graph it together. So number 1, we have 4 is less than or equal to x plus 2, which is less than or equal to 8. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull that apart into its two separate inequalities. So we have 4 is less than or equal to x plus 2, and then we have x plus 2 is less than or equal to 8. Going through and solving, we subtract 2 from both sides. We get 2 is less than or equal to x, and we get subtract 2, we get x is greater than or equal to 6. Now we can put these back together. Well, we could actually just look at their graphs first. Okay, so if we have this graph, to graph it, we would flip the inequality, and we would have also this is x is greater than or equal to 2. So we'll have 2, 4, and 6. Surprising there. And this is x is greater than 2. So we know that it's going to have a closed circle and go this way. And then on this one, we have x is less than 6, 2, 4, 6, less than 6. Okay. Oh, sorry. Less than 6. And then we're going to take these two graphs and we're going to combine them so that we can make the compound inequality, where we would now have x that is greater than or equal to 2 and less than or equal to 6. So we have 2, 4, and 6. We know that both of these are circles that are closed, and we're going to combine these two so that the bar looks like that. Okay, so this is solving the ands. So we should have written on the top solving compound inequalities. Solving compound inequalities with and in them. Because the next one we're going to do is solving some compound inequalities with or. But let's go ahead and do a second example for and for you. Okay, so still on number 12, but our second example for and is going to be -5 is less than or equal to 2x plus 3, which is less than 9. Look at it that we have two different types of inequalities here, one equal, one not equal, which will determine how we're going to graph. So let's, number 1, go ahead and split these up, and then we'll solve them. So we're going to split and solve. Let's do -5 is less than or equal to 2x plus 3 here. And let's do 2x plus 3 is less than 9 on this side. Here we're going to subtract 3, leaving us with a negative 8 is less than or equal to 2x. Then we'll divide both sides by 2, and that is going to give us negative 4 is less than or equal to x. And that graph would look like 2, 4, and 6, let's say. This would have, let's go, whoops, the other way around. And then we would have a closed circle. This is x. This is actually everything. X is, bigger than negative 4, so it's going to go this way. Okay, and then we're going to solve here. Minus 3, 2x less than 6. Divide both sides by 2. And we're going to get x is less than 3. So if we put this over here and we had 3, let's do 3 here, 4, and 2. This is x open circle at 3 is less than 2. So when we take these two and we combine them, they're going to be a pretty large scale here. We're going to need, let's say, negative 5, negative 4, negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, oop, even longer than that, 2, 3, and 4. So here we had a closed circle. Keep doing that. Here we had a closed circle, and here we have an open circle, and they were going to be the line in between the open and closed circle here. Okay, that's how we combine them. Okay. So where they overlap has a special name. It is called the intersection. That is where these two graphs intersect, or they combine, is their intersection. Okay? And the next part we will do ORs. So the next part is solving inequalities with OR. So let's look at the first one, and we'll look at negative 4 plus a is less than or greater than 1, or negative 4 plus a is less than negative 3. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to solve both. We're going to solve them separately. So add 4, add 4. We're going to get a is greater than 5 over here. We're going to add 4, add 4. A is less than 1. Okay, if we look at their graphs, we'd have 5, 6, 4. Open circle, a is greater than 5, so it would go this way. Okay, if we look at the graph on this one, we would have 1, 0, 2. Open circle because it's not equal to. This says a is less than 1, so it would go this way. We're going to take these two graphs. We're going to combine them to graph the compound inequality with the OR. So let's go ahead and say 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, we had an open circle at 0 and everything went that way, and an open circle at 1 and everyone went that way. So this is the compound inequality. Negative 4 plus a is greater than 1, or negative 4 plus a is less than negative 3. That is what the compound inequality graph will look like for this one. Let's go ahead and do one more. I'm going to flip it. If you need more time, go ahead and pause your video. So the second one we're going to do is going to be 2x is less than or equal to 6. Again, this is item number 12. Or 3x is greater than 12. So let's go ahead and solve for both. Divide both sides by 2 on this one. X is less than or equal to 3. Or divide this one by 3, and we're going to get x is greater than 4. Their separate graphs are going to look like this. We'd have 4, 5, 3. Open circle because there's no equal to here. And this is going to be everything greater than 4. This one is going to be 3, 2, and 4. Closed circle at 3 because it has an equal sign. Everything smaller than x. When we take these two and we combine them on one graph, we're going to have 2, 3, 4, and 5. Closed circle here to the left. Open circle here to the right. Okay? Wait. Alright, and you are going to talk about writing compound inequalities in the next video.